Resolution 743, the gentleman from Alabama and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The gentleman from Alabama is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unlike our European forebears, the framers made clear that our nation would have no state church. Instead, under the First Amendment, all would be protected in the free exercise of the religion of their choosing. And we have a proud tradition of conservatives and liberals, Republicans and Democrats, working together to protect this free exercise right. In the 1963 case of Sherbert versus Verner, the liberal Justice William Brennan mandated that any government intrusion into one's free exercise must meet the most stringent standard of judicial review, strict scrutiny. It was actually the conservative Justice Antonin Scalia who wrote the 1990 opinion in Employment Division versus Smith that rolled back the protections of Sherbert. Fortunately, 3 years later, a Democrat Congress and a Democrat President, Bill Clinton, rallied large bipartisan majorities to legislatively overturn Smith and the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, otherwise known as RFRA, and restore strict scrutiny when the government seeks to invade the free exercise of religion. RFRA had 170 co-sponsors. The gentlewoman from California, Ms. Pelosi, and the gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Hoyer, were original co-sponsors. It passed by a voice vote in the House and 97-3 in the Senate. On July 21, 2014, President Obama signed an executive order, 11478, banning federal contractors from discriminating on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity in hiring. Unfortunately, despite our broad history of working together to protect the free exercise right, the President refused to provide conscience protections for religious-based organizations who engage in government contracting. This amendment would clarify that existing religious freedom protections already in law under the RFRA, the Americans with Disability Act, the 1994 Civil Rights Act, and President Bush's Executive Order 13279 would apply irrespective of the amendment offered by Mr. Maloney. We can debate the merits of Executive Order 11478. However, we should have no problem ensuring that religious entities still enjoy the protections of the free exercise of religion. I urge a yes vote on my amendment, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves his time. Anyone seek recognition in opposition of the amendment? What purpose does the gentlelady from Ohio seek recognition?
I claim time in opposition.
Gentlelady is recognized for 5 minutes.
Yes, I don't have a copy of the amendment in front of me, but from what I have listened to the gentleman, it sounds like discrimination in the guise of religious freedom. And I would hope that isn't what the gentleman intends. I've just been given language. None of the funds made available by this act shall be used in contravention of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. I don't have full confidence that the equal protection of the laws for the faith-based community are fully considered in this amendment, and I would have to oppose the gentleman's amendment. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlelady reserved. Gentleman from Alabama.
I reserve.
Reserved. Gentlelady from Ohio. Gentlelady from Ohio is recognized.
I'm in opposition to the amendment, and I yield back my remaining time.
Yields back her time. Gentleman from Alabama.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make very clear, my amendment says not one single thing about discrimination. It talks about religious freedom. And we treat religious freedom sometimes in this country like it's a secondary right. It's not. It's a fundamental right. And what my amendment does is make sure that people of religious conscience still have that freedom. So far from being discrimination, it makes sure that we have freedoms for people that they have had for over 200 years, and under the 1964 Civil Rights Act for over 50 years, and under the Americans with Disability Act for over 25 years, and under RFRA for over 20 years. This is not new. This is not novel. This is settled law. We're making sure we protect people here. This has nothing to do with discrimination. I know there's some people who would like to wipe out the effect of church, the effect of religion, the effect of faith in the public square in America. But that's not what our Constitution is about, and I think this House should stand up for religious freedom from everybody. So I ask that everybody in this House vote for this very important amendment, and I yield back the balance of my time.